The Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro with a threaded barrel. Let's check it out. Springfield Armory introduced their Hellcat in 2019. This was on the heels of the Springfield Armory P365. One of the things Springfield Armory did was up it one round. And so while you still got that super thin, tiny little micro 9, you're carrying 11+1. And there was a 13 round magazine as well. Then they introduced the RDP, which has a threaded barrel with a compensator, which makes this super flat to shoot. But it's about the same size as your Hellcat. And then came along the standard Hellcat Pro OSP, which was optics ready, and so was the Hellcat. And this gave a full-size type silhouette, but yet really thin. One of the beautiful things about these type guns is that it's taking that Micro 9 technology and it's applying to more full-size guns. And now we have the Hellcat Pro OSP, and this comes with a threaded barrel. That's really the biggest difference. And this is an exclusive with Sports Incorporated through Springfield Armory. And we're going to test it with suppressors, and we're going to just go through a lot of the details of the Hellcat Pro and why in the world you would want something that's this thin, this size, and why it makes a great concealed carry option and a home defense firearm. Now, in full disclosure, Springfield Armory sent the Hellcat Pro OSP Threaded Barrel Edition. And we want to give a big thank you to Springfield Armory for helping us out in this review. Well, the Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro OSP with the threaded barrel, again, which is a Sports Incorporated exclusive. This is just based on the standard Pro model, and here we have one with the Hex Optics, which is also owned by Springfield Armory. This has been an excellent handgun. Really, the only major difference is that this comes with a threaded barrel, and we're going to look at that in particular. We have a Silencer Co. Omega 9K that we're going to shoot on this just to test it out, but this is optics ready as well. And so, you know, we've got a lot of great features that came on the original that are following up with the new model. Now, first thing let's do is drop our 15+1 magazine. You do get 2 magazines with the gun, and it's unloaded. Decided to go ahead and show it as it comes in the box, and that way when you get ready to do whatever, you know, put your optic on it, red dot suppressor. I mean, this thing comes full on. But one of the big things about this size pistol, when you have your small little Hellcat, and this is about the same size as your P365, you know, it is a Micro 9. It has 10+1 in the magazine, and the big difference is we have 15+1. So you have a large capacity comparatively. It just comes off about 2 inches off the end. You can see that the slide comes out probably about 3/4 of an inch. The barrel on the Pro model with the threaded barrel is 4.4 inches. It's 3 inches on the Hellcat, the standard, and then it's 3.7 inches on the Hellcat Pro, which just again, it gives you a lot of different options. The one big bonus with this handgun is that while the Hellcat, you know, is very small, and when physics come into play, shooting 9mm, it's going to be a little bit snappy, even though this is very controllable. The Hellcat Pro, and with a threaded barrel as well, is going to be more like a full-size gun because you have that really thinness, which really allows for great concealed carry, but you have a full grip on the pistol. That is huge. And really, again, the big thing is we're getting these full-size silhouette guns that shoot like full-size handguns, and yet they're concealable. and they have the 15 rounds. To give you a comparison, we have a Glock 19. And you can see the difference in the slide thickness. I mean, it is pretty substantial. And even with the threaded barrel, it doesn't come out that much more than the Glock 19, which is considered a compact pistol. But one thing you'll notice is that really silhouette-wise, it's very close to the same size as far as grip length. But yet the width is considerably different. And so while you've got a large gun, and guys with larger hands are gonna really like this. This is one of my favorite guns, period. But when we can get the technology to drop that down to, a considerable less width in the slide and the grip, it just makes it, again, more versatile. I mean, we've got concealed carry options, and yet you've got a home defense option. Obviously with the small Hellcat, you can use this as a home defense option. But it's not going to be as controllable as a little longer barrel and a little better grip. And that's the big plus. And we've seen a number of companies come out with this. Of course, the SIG P365 XL, IWI has come out with one. They're Masada Slim, and there are others. And they're just good full-size silhouettes, but yet they're just thin. And guys, honestly, when you're carrying a small, compact, really thin handgun, and then you switch for home defense for a large, thicker handgun with not that much more capacity, it makes it nice to be able to go to that full capacity and not really change any of the ergonomics, the manual of arms, where the controls are, and it just gives you a lot of advantages. While there is definitely a place for the Micro 9, and this is typically what I carry, the Pro gives you just some extra benefits, and yet it's not that harder to conceal. But really the major thing about this handgun over your standard Hellcat Pro is that it does have the threaded barrel. And we had one of the Silencer Co. Omega 9Ks we were going to test with it, and some Fiocchi subsonic ammunition in 9mm. So Robbie Wheaton came down and we just did some shooting with it to test it out. And guys, we put about 400 rounds through it, just playing around. No malfunctions whatsoever with the subsonics. And for the standard 9mm ammunition, no malfunctions, and it was super quiet. Really, the big deal, again, is the threaded barrel, but putting on a nice suppressor on this, I mean, it's going to make it really quiet. And for home defense, that's a big plus. Of course, you have a 1/2x28 thread pitch and very smooth threads. It allows the suppressor to go on really easily. And guys, really, if you wanted to put a compensator on here, you could. Yeah, the standard Hellcat Pro, it's an excellent gun. And if you're not going to put a suppressor on it or you don't care about it, then I would go with this. But if you want something that's really quiet, you're going to have that option. And honestly, all the parts are interchangeable. In fact, we changed out the slides just so we could have the red dot already mounted, and since I already had it mounted, and it worked like a charm. It does have the optics plate, and this is a direct fit for the Shield RMSC, which the Hex Wasp is in that same footprint. Sights are excellent, and it's one of the things that Springfield Armory does very well. You have your U-notch in the back, and you have a tritium bead at the front, but it's outlined in this really bright green, which gives it a great contrast. And I'm telling you, you can fit that right into that crescent, and man, I mean, it's a great sight picture. And of course, you can change those out for other sights if you want. 2-slot Picatinny rail, the aggressive texturing on the grip, it's really nice. It's not overdone, and yet it gives you a good confident feel when you're gripping the pistol. And to be honest, at the range, shooting this in 9mm, it is a pleasure to shoot. It shoots like a full-size gun. The muzzle rise is not excessive. In fact, it's really pleasurable to shoot, and it just stays right on target. And with those sights, it helps as well. Now the barrel is cold hammer forged, which gives it long life. There's a melanite finish on the slide, and it is a matte melanite. It's a really nice finish. It's going to hold up really well. Very corrosion resistance. The slide serrations, they seem to be low in the slide, but they're easy to grab. They just seem to just bite into your fingers enough to where you can do press checks, or here at the back, bring that slide back very easily. Of course, you do have a few little humps right here. I wouldn't even call these finger grooves. And it does have a high ride, so you're not going to get that discomfort from shooting quite a few rounds, which we shot about 500 rounds through this handgun at our regular range time. The controls are easy. You have your slide stop back here, your takedown lever. We'll look at that when we break it down. Nice high ride right here that allows you to get a really low bore axis. And guys, honestly, compared to the Glock, it's right there with the same bore axis. And it's funny because a lot of the XD pistols that makes this, these are actually made in Croatia, and they're imported by Springfield Armory, the whole XD line. One of the things about this handgun is the bore axis is a lot lower than most of your XD pistols. Loaded chamber indicator, and then we have the Springfield Armory logo right on the top. And then, of course, we have these serrations or these lines that are on the optics cover plate. And this is really simple to put on a red dot. And again, you can mount it directly to the slide, which is a big advantage. All right, let's check the trigger pull action. We do have a flat face trigger with a little bit of a curve. Of course, you have your trigger shoe for your safety. And this just keeps it from inadvertently being able to be pulled. And it does have a trigger stop right here. Now, as we pull the trigger back, we have some take up. It stops right here. A little bit of resistance, and then a nice break. Reset right there. There is no over travel once you hit that wall. We're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge and Brownells. 5 pounds, 2.8 ounces. 5 pounds, 3.7 ounces. And the weight on the Hellcat Pro with the threaded barrel, 21.28 ounces. Big thank you to Fiocchi, sponsors our ammo. This is all made in the USA, one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. And also, we love our Maglulas and Lula loaders, great for the range. Gets those mags loaded quick and it saves your thumbs. Guys, the Springfield Armory Hellcat is one of the most popular concealed carry options out there, holding 13+1. But when they came out with the Pro, it's just a silhouette of a full-size handgun, and yet it's super thin. Then we have 15+1 in the magazine, and it's just more shootable than your small little micro 9s, and yet it's really thin. Now this one, of course, optics ready, and you do have a threaded barrel. You can put a suppressor on it. So it's just an upgrade. The Hellcat series just keeps getting better. They're adding more and more firearms to their line. And while you do have that red dot, you also have that U-notch in the back with that tritium green outline. I love their sight system. I mean, it just shows up really well, and you can see it through the sight. The cocking serrations on the sides, the texturing is very well done. Of course, we've had no malfunctions, which we haven't had with any of the Hellcat series. But just a very shootable gun. You've got a good solid grip on it because the grip is thin and it's fairly small, but yet it's longer and it fits in your hand better. That's the first time we haven't had it to even hold open on the last round. But guys, I'm telling you, these are excellent handguns. As far as disassembly, drop your magazine, check the chamber, bring back your slide into slide lock, and then take your takedown lever and push it in the up position. And that's a little different than a lot of others that come into the down position. And then just release your slide and pull the trigger. And it releases the striker. Now we have a double captive recoil spring, and for this shorter barrel, I mean, it really helps with felt recoil. And then we got to take our thread protector off to take our barrel out. And then we'll pull our barrel straight out. And that's all you need to do to field strip. As far as the interior, I mean, it is extremely well done, which is typical for your XD or your Hellcat line. I mean, they do a beautiful job machining. Barrel has that melanite finish on it, going to give it really good corrosion. And again, these are cold hammer forged, which means that it really does give it really good life. And you have your feed ramp here, and you can see it's pretty dirty from all the shooting. And then here with the internals, I mean, this is typical striker fire pistols. For reassembly, drop in your barrel. And then we have our recoil spring and guide rod. Place it into under the hood there, and then just bring it right here on the lug. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and bring it over, put it in slide lock. We're going to go ahead and put on our thread protector. And then we're going to bring our slide stop all the way down and then release. Function check, we're good to go. Now, one thing that I didn't show was the case, and it comes with this case, and it's really nice. It comes in a regular cardboard box, the Springfield Armory. This just gives you a lot more options to be able to protect it. And guys, honestly, I use these type cases a lot more than I use a box. Even one of those hard plastic boxes. You also get a magazine loader, which honestly, this is valuable because those magazines at first are fairly difficult to load. I mean, they have a lot of tension on them. So the loader really comes in handy. Personally, I use the Maglulas because I just love them. And of course, also all the other stuff, the owner's manual, things like that. But this just makes a nice addition. Now, the retail price is $667. Again, this is a Sports Incorporated exclusive. And so that's the distributor that these are coming through. And of course, market price typically is less. And it's a little more expensive than your standard Pro without the threaded barrel, but really it's not much of a difference. Some pros and cons: it's optics ready, 15+1, super thin, beautiful. I love the sights. Sights are one of my favorite, really textured very well, optics ready, no proprietary system. And you have your threaded barrel. And again, if you're running suppressors, this makes a great suppressor host. We had, again, no issues at all shooting it suppressed. I mean, it just ran like a top. Serrations are really nice. You know, as far as cons go, if you're looking for a super small concealed carry pistol, then go with the standard Hellcat. But on the other hand, this can make a great concealed carry option because it's so thin. The threads and the extended barrel is going to add a little bit of length if you're not running a suppressor. But you can get a standard Hellcat Pro barrel and carry it that way, then add the threaded barrel if you want. And it also just adds to the Springfield Armory line. It gives us more options. And guys, like I always say, we live in the golden age of firearms. This is just another example. And these also come in an FDE color if that's your thing. So a lot of options from Springfield Armory. So while the original Hellcat is still a very small concealable firearm with 11+1 in the magazine, up it to the Hellcat Pro and you get a full-size gun with 15+1. And it's like a home defense gun and also really thin to make this a great concealed carry option. Then with the threaded barrel, you're ready for your suppressor or a muzzle brake. And it is optics ready, so it's just a great combination, and it's really awesome to see a lot of these guns coming out taking that Micro 9 technology and moving it into a more full-size pistol. And again, we appreciate Springfield Armory for sending the Hellcat Pro OSP with a threaded barrel for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Threaded barrel. I can't say threaded. Rubber baby buggy bumpers with a threaded barrel. With a threaded barrel.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah, trust me, man. So it was 11 round mag. Okay. We have a loaded. Come on. I want to find out when that is. Not just some horse crap.